Money.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing today? Today is Saturday, June 22nd, 2024. So, you know what that means. This is our weekly economic numbers review, hosted by yours truly, Tech Coach Ralph, as well as Yakar and our good friend Mitch in the chat. Shout out, shout out, shout out. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. So, how is everybody doing today? So, let's talk about what we're going to be talking about today. So, today we're going to be going over what we couldn't complete last week, the University of Michigan releasing the preliminary consumer sentiment. Then we're going to talk about the Commerce Department releasing the sales report. So, you know how we always do. And we've reviewed these things before. They become like on a monthly basis or a weekly basis, depending on what we're reviewing. So that's the plan for today. I am Tech Coach Ralph, where we are engineer twin. This is the Men Lie, Women Lie, Numbers Manipulate show. Yep, the numbers be manipulating, but we are here to break them down to make more sense of them, because we don't want to be sheep unless you are the black sheep, like this says right here, the black sheep. But we don't want to be sheep. We want to have a good understanding for ourselves. We want to break it down for ourselves so we can know what they're telling us and we can make the right decisions for our lives. All right. So with that being said, let's get the show on the road. Okay. So first thing we're going to start off with is, being a Floridian, South Floridian to be specific, Florida is down bad. So for those, including myself, who don't follow hockey, the National Hockey League, NHL, the Florida Panthers, they're like, they play like 20 minutes away from me. They are in the, I don't know what they call them, like championships. They were up 3-0. 3-0. And now the team that they're playing against has come back to a 3-3 4-3 tie. Only had one job. He only had one job. Now, that means will the Panthers, the Florida Panthers, be the first team in history to lose after a 3-0 lead? A team to come back from down 3-0 to win 4-3. We'll keep our eyes on this. Luckily for me, I no longer really care about sports. So, and I never really cared about hockey. I don't care about sports in general. So, I'm not going to feel anyway one way or the other. But I know there are a lot of hockey fans and people who are not even really hockey fans, but because Florida's in the championship, they have some type of vested interest. But down here in Florida, we don't really care about sports like that, because if our teams are winning, great. If they're not, we get over it, because we have so many other things to do. That is not our primary focus. But Florida is down bad. I wanted to say it before your car did, because your car loves calling us out down here in sunny South Florida, although it is kind of rainy today. So we'll see. All right. Anyways, we are going to get the show on the road. Let's switch over to our agenda, or not our agenda, but like our data, what we're going to be reviewing today, right? So let's get at it. And real quick to announce, I'm going to try to start limiting my show times to a particular length, but I am not going to start today, because I know if I was to start it today, then Mitch and your car would be feeling some type of way, saying, "Oh, why is it our show that gets the time limit?" So what I'm going to do, starting tomorrow, I'm going to put a overall show timer where I'm like, we're going to try to keep it within a certain time frame, and I'm just going to have the timer running, so that way I can have a visual representation. Like, okay, this is how much time we have left. But I don't want to do it today, because I know how Mitch and your car are gonna go, "Oh, why is it our show?" I'm like, no, we're going to wait. We're going to wait. And because I don't want to rush things and stuff. And the way that we're able to push the University of Michigan to this week, because last week we had a lot of data. This week we don't have too much data. So we're in good shape, But that's going to be probably starting tomorrow. Start limiting the shows, depending on which show it is, to a certain time length. That way, because there's a lot of things to do. And when we go over, it doesn't work out too well, because life is busy. All right. Life is busy. All right. So with that being said, let's get the show on. We got your car in the building as well. See, and your car, I must have known, because the picture of the tank that I have for this thumbnail, your car came for war today with his first comment talking about men tell the truth, but women lie. What? To manipulate the numbers in their favor. Talking about some data being manipulated by a dating app. See me, I don't even get involved in none of that dating stuff. I just be chilling. I just be working. I just be putting it in, because we are in it to win it. All right. And your car also says, "Just me and Ralph, we the real ones." And you're gonna get Mitch mad about that. You're gonna get Mitch. Don't get Mitch started, because he will swoop in like the Dark Knight that he is.
We the best.
All right, let's get started today with the first. Let's go. All right, so already spoke about Florida being down bad. So let's get into the numbers that we're going to be reviewing this week, the numbers to watch for the week. So we have, we read this on Monday. We are going to get, what's up, Spaces? What's going on? How you doing today, Spaces? All right, so the numbers to watch. So this is from Monday. Retail sales for May will be the focal point this week amid signs of slowing inflation. A revision to April sales showed no change from March as price growth began to ease, with reports last week showing still slower inflation in May. And declining wholesale prices, shoppers may be encouraged to spend. Interest rates, however, remain at a 23-year high following a decision by the Federal Reserve on Wednesday to leave them unchanged and to forecast just one rate cut this year. So, and including this, right? It's amazing that when prices or inflation is up, people they don't want to spend, right? But then as soon as a little bit of decline happens, then people are encouraged to spend instead of like making wise economic decisions, investing their money in the right place. As Ye, formerly Kanye West, had said, I have a problem with spending before I get it. And I think that is a problem that a lot of people have. A lot of people have that problem, spending before we get it. We got to do better, right? So we're going to be reviewing today. In addition to the consumer sentiment report, we're going to review that first, and then we're going to get into Tuesday, June. So this is from Tuesday, June 18th. The Commerce Department released its retail sales report for May, which tracks demand for finished goods such as food, clothing, and furniture in stores and online. Then we have the Thursday, June 20th. We have our normal Department of Labor releasing the initial jobless claims. And then Friday, yesterday, we had the National Association of Realtors releasing the monthly report measuring the existing homes sold in May. All right. So that is the plan for this morning. Let's get after it. All right. So like I said, we're going to be reviewing the University of Michigan. Let's take a quick recap of the University of Michigan Consumer Report before we actually look at it. All right. So the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index is a measure of how optimistic or pessimistic consumers are about the economy. Based on a survey conducted by the University of Michigan, which asked customers or consumers about their feelings, yes, their feelings, about and expectations regarding their personal financial situation, business conditions, and overall economic outlook. So, how does the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index work? So, conducting the survey, right? So they have a sample selection. The survey involves a random sample of households in the United States. The sample is designed to be representative of the entire U.S. population. Disclaimer, I have never been contacted for one of these surveys, but it might be because I don't answer calls from numbers I don't know. So that's quite a possibility, right? So what questions do they ask in this survey? The participants are asked a series of questions about their current financial situation, their expectations for the economy overall, over the next year and the next 5 years, and their attitudes towards making big purchases like homes and cars. All right. What are the key components of this survey? So it talks about the current economic conditions, questions about how customers feel about their current financial situations and whether they think it's a good time to make large purchases. Consumer expectations, questions about what consumers expect in terms of their personal finances, business conditions, and the economy as a whole over the short and long term. So how is this index scored, right? Because you need to have a score. So what is the calculation? The responses are converted into a numerical score. There are two main sub-indices, the current economic conditions index and the consumer expectation index. So current and expected. These are combined to create an overall consumer sentiment index. So the index value. The index is set to a base value of 100 based on data from the year 1966. Scores above 100 indicate positive sentiment, while scores below 100 indicate negative sentiment. All right. So why does this matter? Why should we care? Why should we care about the consumer sentiment index? Right. So it's used for predicting consumer behavior. Consumer sentiment is a leading indicator of economic activity because consumer spending drives a large part of the economy. If people feel good about the economy, they are more likely to spend money, which can boost economic growth. So economic policy. Policymakers also use this consumer sentiment index. So policymakers and economists use the index to gauge the economic outlook and make decisions about monetary and fiscal policies. And then lastly, business planning. Businesses use the consumer sentiment data to make decisions about production, inventory, and marketing strategy based on anticipated consumer demand. So if it's low, that means we don't have to go into production for a lot of stuff because it's not going to get a lot of buying. And if it's high, then we need to ramp it up, right? So let's say, for instance, take a random example of recreational vehicles, RVs, right? Let's say the consumer sentiment is high and a lot of people, they're getting into, maybe they're doing the RV rental or, business people want RVs. They're going to see what the sentiment index says, and they're going to maybe ramp up production along with other data. Or if they see that things are bad, and like we're down bad,
I'm in a bind, Nate.
then they're like, all right, we need to slow down production. We're in a bind. We can't do that. All right. So That is the importance of the Consumer Sentiment Index. And so now, examples of the survey questions, right? Current financial situations. Would you say that you and your family living there are better off or worse off financially than you were a year ago? So if you ever watch the news and they say, how do customers feel about, like, are they better off or worse off than they were a year ago or 4 years ago? 4 years ago, what does that mean? Right? Are you better off or worse off? And based on how they respond, how they feel about that, then it can look to, what, like, different things that are going on in the economy, possibly like who they think is going to be, like, lead to political office, things like that. So another question says future financial expectations. Do you think a year from now, you and your family living there will be better off financially or worse off or just about the same? So what do you think is going to happen in a year? And, so election season around the corner, if people say, we think we're going to be worse off, then it might say, okay, we think this person's going to win, or we're going to be better off. Oh, okay, in that case, it might be leading towards this person winning, because if they say that they're worse off in the past 3 years than they were 4 years ago, then they say, okay, in that case, if they think they're going to be better off, that means we see where the voting thing might go. Who knows? I'm just throwing random stuff out there, right? And then general economic conditions. Looking ahead, do you think that during the next 12 months, we'll have good times financially or bad times? All right. So, it's like, all right, where do you see yourself in the next year or so? Is it going to be better or worse? Like, are you going to be,
Money.
are you going to be getting the bag? Are you going to stacking chips, or are you going to be broke and unemployed and possibly living in a Tesla? Or that other person who was living in some Chevy Cavalier, and they had a platform bed and a cat in the car, who, I'm not sure if it was the cat or the person living in the car who had the IBS. Bruh. It's not only Florida that's down bad. We are all down bad. All right. So interpreting the index. High index value indicates that consumers are feeling optimistic, about the economy. This typically leads to increased consumer spending and economic growth. Or a low index value indicates consumers are feeling pessimistic about the economy. This can lead to reduced consumer spending and slower economic growth.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
So, to wrap it up, what this index is, and next time we come across it, we'll have a shorter summary. What I'll probably do is clip this explanation up, and we shall, make it available where people can just reference this, and we don't have to go through this whole thing every time we talk about the Consumer Sentiment Index, right? So, the University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index is a valuable tool for understanding how consumers feel about the economy. By surveying a representative sample of households, it provides insights into consumer confidence, which can help predict future economic activities and guide decisions for businesses and policymakers, all right? So that is what the Consumer Sentiment Index is, why it's important. So now let's take a quick look at the results. And this is from last week, Friday, June 14th. So let's open that up. And this is our Consumer Sentiment Index. We have a score of 65.6. Index of Consumer Sentiments, 65.6. Current economic conditions, 62.5. Index of Consumer Expectations, 67.6. So what I'm seeing here just off the preliminary results for June, right, is that we are definitely under 100 from 1966, right? And what it's saying to me here is that percentage of respondents mentioning. All right. And so what I'm seeing here is that the current is lower, but the expected is higher for like a year for the future. So it puts it right in the middle, saying that, how do the people feel? Like right now, it is trash, as Mitch would say. That joke was trash. Bruh. right? But they're saying, we feel, we feel like it might get better a year from now. Why is that? So the next release is going to be, I guess it's going to be the official one for June. It's going to be Friday, June 28th, next Friday. So let's take a quick read of this. Surveys of consumers director Joanne Sue. I'm going to guess the H is silent, I'm hoping. Right? So consumer sentiment was little change in June. This month's reading was statistically insignificant, 3.5 index points below May and within the margin of error. Sentiment is currently about 31% above the trough seen in June 2022. Amid the escalations in inflation, assessments of personal finances dipped due to modestly rising concerns over high prices as well as weakening incomes. Overall, consumers perceive few changes in the economy for May. So, year ahead, inflation expectations were unchanged this month at 3.3%, above the 2.3 to 3% range seen in the 2 years prior to the pandemic. Long-running inflation expectations inched up from 3% last month to 3.1% this month. The June reading should have interpreted as essentially unchanged from May. Long-run inflation expectations have been remarkably stable over the last 3 years, but remain elevated relative to the 2.2 to 2.6% range seen in the 2 years pre-pandemic. All right. So all of these patterns are visible when looking at trends within phone interviews alone or web interviews alone, and thus they are not artifacts of the survey's methodological translation. All right. So really unchanged, but it is still a bit low according to what we read in our description. Where we at? It was, let me see. So index value. So the index is set to a base value of 100 based on data from the year of 1966. Scores above 100 indicate positive sentiment. Scores below 100 indicate negative sentiment. So we are still in the red. We are still feeling quite negative about our economy as consumers. Alrighty, let's get back to full screen. Let's take a look at the chat, and I see my guy, Mr. Lot, is in the building. Let's take care of Mr. Lot first with the $50 super chat. Oh my God.
Let's get it.
Mr. Lot, I really, really, really appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
And Mr. Lot says stopping by to show love. Mr. Lot is probably heading to his tech meetup. And, I really, really admire Mr. Lot, his work ethic and his videos. Really cool guy. And looking forward to working with Mr. Lot. And I remember you said that you had hurt your back the other day. How's your back doing? Let me know, Mr. How's your back doing? Hopefully you're able to get back in the gym, get back on the mats because, for me, once I get off the mats for too long, I start losing my mind. So you know how it is. Right? So we also have, let me see. We have Spaces in the building says, yo, what's going on, Spaces? How are you doing today, Spaces? What's up? And we have Maddox12 in the building. Hello, team. As Maddox says, please hit the like button. The likes are free. So this is where we're at. So the next thing we have up is going to be the Commerce Department. All right. So we are moving through very, very good information. Hopefully you found hopefully it was easy. Let me know. Was it easy to understand the consumer sentiment index, or should next time we come across maybe probably might be next Saturday when they release the full one for the complete one for June. Maybe we can break it down, make it a little bit easier to understand if it if that one was a little bit too complex to understand, because that one it was a lot of information. It was a lot of information, but we shall see. All right, now let's get into our next one. Our next one is going to be the Department of Labor's initial jobless claims report, where no, that's not the one we're looking at. No, we are looking at this one. We're looking at the Commerce Department releasing the retail sales report for May, which tracks demand for finished goods such as foods, clothing, and furniture in stores and online. Right. So, what is this report? And we're going to do, because we've reviewed this before, we're going to do a quick summary and breakdown. Right. So, the Commerce Department's retail sales report is a report that tells us how much money people are spending in stores and online. So, a simple summary. What is it? It's a report that shows how much money people are spending on things like clothes, food, and electronics in stores and online. Why does this matter? Who cares? Who the hell cares, right? It helps us understand if people are buying more or less stuff compared to before. If people are spending more money, it usually means the economy is doing well. So, and this is a little bit similar to the, it's like, so the consumer sentiment index is more about how you feel. While this is actually using data, shout out to Mitch and Mr. Lot, my data people in the chat. Welcome in, Mitch. I'm going to address you just in a second, all right? And it says, who uses this, right? So lots of people use it, like businesses, economists, and the government. They use this information to see how the economy is doing and make decisions. So in summary, the retail sales report from the Commerce Department shows how much people are spending in stores and online, and it helps everyone understand how strong or weak the economy is doing. All right. So let's take a look at our Commerce Department retail sales report. All right. So here we are. This was released Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. Advanced monthly sales for retail and food. So May 2024. So April's 2024 revised is $702.5 billion. Was down 0.2% in April after the revisions, which this number is going to be revised next month, but it is $703.1 billion. So we went up by 0.1%. We out here winning. Yes, we are 0.1%. We increased by less than $1 billion, right? The next release is going to be July 16, 2024. So we shall look out for that. Percent change in retail and food service sales from previous month. This chart does not look the clearest, so we'll keep going. So advanced estimates of U.S. retail and food services, right? Advanced estimates of U.S. retail and food services for sales for May 2024, adjusted for seasonal variation and holiday and trading day differences, but not for price changes, were $703.1 billion, up 0.1%, plus or minus 0.4% from the previous month. I think it's a plus or minus 0.4 because of the revisions from the previous month, and up 2.3% above May 2023. So according to this report, we are doing better than last year. Total sales for the March 2024 through May 2024 period were up 2.9%, plus or minus 0.5% from the same period a year ago. The March 2024 to April 2024 percentage was revised from virtually unchanged, plus or minus 0.4%, to down 0.2%. Retail trade sales were up 0.2%, plus or minus 0.4% from April 2024, and up 0.2%, plus or minus 0.5% above last year. Non-store retailers were up 6.8%, plus or minus 1.4% from last year, while food services and drinking places were up 3.8%, plus or minus 2.3% from May 2023. So what I'm seeing here is overall, we are doing better than we did last year, but still possibly kind of low. And the level of growth is very slow. But comparing this to the consumer sentiment index, this is painting a better story than the consumer sentiment index is painting. All right. So that is where we're at. It is what it is. Let me see what monthly trade. Let me see. Is there anything in here? If we click on this, what we get? Let me see. This is the same data. All right, just in PDF format. All right, cool. We are good with that. So let's go back to full screen. And we are here. So we have Mr. Mitch in the building. He says, take off the blazer, loosen up the tie. Superman is alive. I don't know, Mitch. I see you more as the Dark Knight instead of Superman. But if you want to identify as Superman, I am all with it. All right, I'm all with it. All right. So let's see what else we got. All right. So we are moving along. And Mitch, are you ready to talk about FICO today? Towards the end, I'm gonna go over like what FICO is, and I have that information. But you can start dropping everything you want to share in the chat about FICO, and I'm gonna star it and favorite it, and I will, and then we can go through those so that so just whatever you want to say about FICO, just put FICO at the beginning so I can set those aside, and then we can read those chronologically, and then we can have a discussion about FICO towards the end. But I would love to talk about FICO today if you are ready to talk about that. All right. So with that being said, let's get into our next one, which the one that we should be the most familiar with this one. This is the Department of Labor. The Department of Labor releasing the initial jobless claims for the previous week, right? So the report is a proxy for layoffs, tracks the number of people filing for unemployment benefits. So let's do a quick recap of what this is, why it's important, and who uses it, right? So it tells us how many people are asking for help because they just lost their job. So what is it? It's a report that counts how many people are filing for unemployment benefits for the first time. Unemployment benefits are money the government gives to people who don't have a job so they can still buy the things that they need. Why does this matter? Why should I care? Why should you care about this, right? It helps us understand how many people are losing their jobs. If a lot of people are filing for these benefits, it means the economy is down bad, just like the Florida Panthers. So who uses this? Report, right? So lots of people, like the government, businesses, and economists, use this information to understand the job market and make important decisions. Should we be hiring? Should we be cutting back? What's going on? Are we heading near towards a recession? Or let's not even say the word, a depression. Oops, I wasn't supposed to say the word. God. Bruh. All right. So in summary, the initial jobless claims report from the Department of Labor shows how many people are newly unemployed and helps everyone understand the health of the job market. I mean, you could just look on LinkedIn as well. It'll tell you the health real quick. But like they say, some of the loudest people are also, I don't even know how the saying goes, but some of the loudest people, some of the loudest people are the ones who are most seen, but they can also be the minority, right? So with that being said, let's take a look at our data really, really quick. So remember, the numbers in this report, they tell us how many people are filing for unemployment benefits for the first time. All right, let's go. Let's get after it. So we are here. Make sure we are. So release June 20th, 2024. All right. So seasonally adjusted data in the week ending of June 15th, the advanced figure for seasonally adjusted initial claims. So for the number of people filing for unemployment benefits for the first time was 238,000, a decrease of 5,000 from the previous week's revised levels. It's going down. It's going down. All right. So the previous week's level was revised up by 1,000 from 242,000 to 243,000. All right. So it went up, but it came down. All right. But next week, they might revise it and it's like, oh, well, it's actually 10,000 more than we thought. So yeah, we're off by 10,000 or 15,000, right? So the 4-week moving average was 232,750, an increase of 5,500 from the previous week's revised averages. The previous week's average was revised up by 250 from 227 to 227,000 to 227,250. So the advanced seasonally adjusted insured unemployment rate was 1.2% for the week ending June 8th, unchanged from the previous week's unrevised rate. The advanced number for seasonally adjusted insured unemployment during the week ending of June 8th was 1,828,000, an increase of 15,000 from the previous week's revised up. So what was the pop quiz? What does it mean for the seasonally adjusted uninsured unemployment, right? So seasonally adjusted. There are jobs that have that like they're seasonal. So they adjust these numbers and these percentages and how they calculate it based on what season it is. Because like, let's say during Christmas time and things like that, there's going to be people who are working like these seasonal jobs, and they are going to. So if we count it the same, then during the summer they might not have those same jobs, but maybe during like 4th of July and Memorial Day and things like that, there's these how they have these firework pop-ups and stuff like that, or the fire how things happen, retail sales during certain times, but like maybe during September it's not going to be like there's not any it's not like holiday season, so it's going to be adjusted for that, right? The forward moving average was 1,805,500, an increase of 10,250 from the previous week's revised schedules. The previous week's average was revised down by 1,500 from 1,796,750 to 1,795,250. All right. So, and this is the chart. This would be like last June, and this is current June, and we are actually doing better than we were a year ago, but we are hovering around the whole 250. So we're give or take 250. Seasonally adjusted 1.8, and it's actually last year seasonally adjusted was lower than it is this year. So so it looks like the overall hiring not adjusted for is not due to seasoning or seasonally adjusted. So that's what we see here. Unadjusted data. The advanced number of actual initial claims under the state programs unadjusted total 227,213 in the week ending June 15th, a decrease of 8,833, or negative 3.7%, decline of 3.7% from the previous week. The seasonal factors had expected a decrease of 4,133, or 1.8. So we actually had a pretty good decrease compared to what we had expected to what it actually was. There were 249,813 initial claims in the comparable week of 2023, a year ago, right? The advanced unadjusted insured unemployment rate was 1.2% during the week ending of June 8th, an increase of 0.1 percentage points from the prior week. The advanced unadjusted levels of insured unemployment in state programs totaled 1,734,938, an increase of 26,794 from the preceding week. The seasonal factors had expected an increase of 12,693, or 0.7%. So there was a higher increase than was expected from the previous week. A year earlier, the rate was 1.1%, and the volume was 1,670,300. Right? So that's what we have here. Let's keep going. Let me see the total number of weeks. We're not going to read that one. No states were triggered on extended benefits program. And 419 of federal civilian employees filed for UI benefits for June 8th, which was an increase from 19. What else do we got? The discharged veterans claiming benefits was 4,314, a decrease of 6. So that's good. That went down. All right. So where we'd like to get to, the highest insured unemployment rates in the week ending of June 1st were always leading the way: New Jersey at 2.3, California at 2.2, Washington 1.8, Rhode Island 1.6, Illinois 1.5, Massachusetts 1.5, Minnesota 1.5, Nevada, New York, and Pennsylvania are all 1.5, right? The largest increases in initial claims for the week ending of June 8th were California, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, Texas, and Illinois, while the largest decreases were North Dakota, Missouri, Tennessee, Kansas, and Idaho. All right, Idaho. So that is the initial jobless claims for the week ending of this week, June 22nd. All right. So that being said, we are at full screen. We have one more official uh, to review article to review, and then we're going to get into the FICO score review and see what Mitch's thoughts about that. So let me get some water. And let's see where we're at. And Mitch says, it says Dark Knights, I see better. And I will go off of what you start with. So we're talking about the FICO score. The numbers in these reports are we know all numbers are manipulated to tell the story that you wanted to tell. Which reminds me, I'm going to be doing the Wednesday video in a 2-part. We're going to be talking about QA metrics, and I think that there is finding QA metrics is not going to be just from QA, but I think there's going to be a lot of data analysis and data engineering points that come into play when you're trying to gather these metrics, especially like even for QA. So I think that's going to be a really good video for Mitch and Mr. Lott as well. We're going to do it in 2 parts though, because it's going to be a pretty long one to put in one. All right. So where are we at now? Where are they now? All right. So we are at the National Association of Realtors, right? So let's go to share screen. And it says the National Association of Realtors, the NAR, has a report that tells us. All right, so this was from Friday, June 21st. Yesterday, the National Association of Realtors, NAR, released its monthly report measuring the number of existing homes sold in May. All right, so before we even go to this, let's do a quick breakdown of what this is. The National Association of Realtors, NAR, has a report that tells us how many homes people are buying and selling each month. This report is called the number of existing homes sold. Pretty straightforward. All right. So why should we care? So what is this report, right? It's a report that counts how many homes that people have already lived in are sold during a certain time, usually a month. So I think the government has one someone has one for new homes sold. This one is for existing homes. People who already lived in it and how much they're sold for the month, right? Why should we care about this? It helps us understand if more or fewer people are buying homes compared to other times. This can tell us if the housing market is doing well or not. Who uses this report, right? So people who use it are home buyers, sellers, real estate agents, and even the government. They use this information to make decisions. And so pretty much in summary, the National Association of Realtors shows us how many existing homes are sold and helps people understand the housing market just a little bit better. So let's get to the report. So here we are. May 2024 brought 4.11 million in sales, a median sales price of 419,300, and a 3.7 month of inventory. The median sales price is up 5.8% year over year, and inventory was up 0.6 months. Was up 0.6 months from May 2023. Right. So basically, what I'm understanding here is that they were up 0.6 points from the months of inventory. So it's like a 3-month leeway. So from my understanding here, the more inventory that they have, that means the more homes are going to be on the market and are available, meaning that the housing market would be slowing. And the median price is pretty much $420,000 for a used home. Right? Imagine paying that much for a used car, right? So a snapshot of this report, right? So 4.11 million seasonally adjusted annual rate. Let me see. Month over month is 0.7 increase. Year over year is a 0.28 increase, right? Inventory 3.7 months. It was 3.1 in May, and so that means the inventory is growing. That means, from my understanding, there are more homes becoming available for longer periods of time, and the median sales price is $420,300, right? So, with that being said, let's see. Is there anything else we can see from here? I think I wanted to see the news release. So, this is the news release for this report, right? So, key highlights: existing homes slipped by 0.7 in May. So it went down by 0.7 to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 4.11 million. Sales descended 2.8% from 1 year ago. All right. The median existing home sales price jumped 5.8% from May 2023 to 419,300, the highest price ever recorded and the 11th consecutive month of year-over-year gains. The inventory of unsold existing homes grew 6.7% from the previous month to 1.28 million at the end of May, or an equivalent of 3.7 months supply at the current monthly sales price. All right, so a lot of homes are available. And this is pretty much the information that we just went through. Let's see if there's anything that stands out. In the 4 U.S. major regions, sales slid month over month. In the South, were unchanged. In Northeast, Midwest, and the West, year over year, sales rose in the Midwest, but receded in Northeast, South, and West. All right. Let's see. Anything else we missed? So let's take a look at the confidence index. Right. Let's see. So, according to the monthly Realtors Confidence Index, properties typically remain on the market for 24 days in May, down from 26 days in April, but up from 18 days in May 2023. First-time buyers were responsible for 31% of the home sales, down from 33% in April, but from 28% in May 2023. Let's see. So found that annual shares for first-time buyers was 32%. All cash sales accounted for 28% of transactions in May, unchanged from April and up from 25% a year ago. Individual investors or second home buyers who make up many cash sales purchased 16% of homes in May, identical to April and up from 15% in May 2023. Distress sales, so foreclosures and short sales, represented 2% of May, unchanged from last month and the previous year. So, what are the mortgage rates? According to Freddie Mac, the 30-year fixed rate mortgage averaged 6.87% as of June 20th. That's down from 6.95% the prior week, but up 6.67% 1 year ago. Borrowing money is very, very expensive. Very, very expensive, right? So, single family and condo co-op sales, right? Single family home sales declined to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of 3.71 million in May, down 0.8 from 3.74 million in April and 2.1% from the prior year. The median existing single family home price was $424,500 in May, up 5.7% from May 2023. Let's see. The seasonally adjusted annual rate of 400,000 units in May. Existing condominiums and co-ops sales were unchanged from last month and down 9.1 from 1 year ago. The median existing condo price was $371,300 in May, up 5.1% from the previous year. Right. So I do not like homeowner associations. I don't like co-ops. I don't like condos because it's too restrictive and stuff like that. And I know like a lot of times they need to approve, like for co-ops at least, or some co-ops, they need to approve if you're allowed to sell your house, who you're allowed to sell it to. It's just a big hot mess, right? So that's why I try to avoid those things like the plague, right? Let's see. Anything else? So let's do the regional breakdown. Existing home sales in Northeast in May were identical to April at an annual rate of 480,000, a decline of 4% from May. The median price in the Northeast was 479,200, up 9.2% from the prior year. In the Midwest, existing home sales were unchanged from 1 month ago at an annual rate of 1 million in May, up 1% from a year ago. The median price in the Midwest was 217,000, up 6.4% from May 2024. Existing home sales existing home sales in the South fell 1.6% from April to an annual rate of 1.87% in May, or 1.87 million in May, down 5.1% from the previous year. The median price in the South was 374,300, up 3.6% from last year. And lastly, in the West, existing home sales in May were equivalent to April at an annual rate of 760,000, a drop of 1.3% from 1 year ago. The median price in the West was 632,900, up 5.5% from May 2023. All right. So that is this report. We're not going to read that. So that's the report. Let's go back to full screen. And next up, we have our FICO report. But before we get to the FICO, I'm going to go run and get something real quick, and then we are going to get into the FICO. We're going to read the chat, get into FICO, all that good stuff. All right. So just give me one quick second. All right, I am back. Had to get some of my shots, because I do not drink energy drinks anymore. Thanks to Mitch. All right, so let's go through the chat talking about this report, right? So let's see. Mitch had said, you hear about the cyber attacks in the car industry. I did not hear about that. That might have to be a bug bite episode for next week. I have to take a look into that to see what's going on. And it says, and 6.8 with good credit. And 6.8 is with good credit. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's 6.8 for the mortgage rate with good credit. Yep, that makes sense. And Mitch also says condos and townhouses are cool, hard to sell if you want to, though. Yep, because you have to actually get approval from the board and all this type of stuff. And then, from what I see, they can raise the prices on you, like the HOA fee, the homeowners association fee. They can just raise it on you whenever they feel like it. Allegedly, they quote unquote vote on it, But I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that, right? Let's see what else we got. And that was it. All right, cool. So we are going to get into FICO time. FICO time. All right. So let's do it. Let's see. Mitch also said, I think it's still going on with the cyber attacks. Attacks, car dealerships have been down. Really? Is it for processing loan applications or something like that? I got to look into that. I didn't hear about that. I'm going to look into it. Maybe that's going to be our bug bite for this coming week. All right. So let's do FICO. So here we are. First and foremost, what is FICO? All right, what is FICO? So, and we're going to break it down, make it very, very easy to understand. A FICO score is like a grade you get in school. But instead of showing how well you did on a test, it shows how good you are at handling money and paying back what you borrow, or like I say, paying back what you owe. In the very, very famous words of Trick Daddy Dollars, he says, I'm about my money. About my money. Don't be messing around when it comes time to paying me back my money. And Mitch says, is this FICO 10 or FICO 10T? Should I know, Mitch? I just searched for what is FICO. I can try to find out what is FICO 10 and FICO 10T, but I don't know, right? But Mitch also says, yes, yeah, everything. It's like an adult report card. Think of it like that. Okay, look at that. Yeah, I'm not sure about FICO 10 or FICO 10T. If we need to look into that, I will do so. But I just searched like what is FICO, and that's what I got. All right. So, so why is FICO score important? Borrowing money. It's important. So when it comes to borrowing money, when you want to borrow money, let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Let me see what can we do. Can we work with that? Let's see. A little too big. Let me see if I go down to 175. All right, that's good. So why is a FICO score important? Right. So borrowing money. When you want to borrow money, like getting a loan to buy a house or a car, or now if you're buying on Amazon, maybe getting some, or you're trying to buy some Jordans, who knows, right? Lenders look at your FICO score to decide if they should lend you the money. What about interest rates? Your score can also affect how much extra money, interest, you have to pay when you borrow money. So, because nothing is free, right? Remember the song on the Little John album? I think it was Crunk Juice. Nothing's free, right? So, that being said, if I'm going to let you borrow money, that means that you have to pay it back to me at an interest rate. Now, if for some weird, odd reason I let you borrow money in the past and you were late on paying me back, now your FICO score with me is going down. So now you come to me, hey, I want to borrow I want to borrow $100. I'm like, all right, cool. I will let you borrow $100, but based on past interaction, you're going to have a 10% interest rate. So that means when you pay me back and I'll give you a 30-day grace period, right? If within 30 days you pay me back my $100, you're not going to have to pay any additional fee, right? But if you don't pay me back in 30 days, I'm going to add 10% interest on what you owe me. So that means in 30 days, if you don't pay me my 100, now you owe me 110. Like, okay, what if I pay you something? I'm like, all right, cool. If you want to pay me like $20, then what's going to happen is from 100, I'm going to take off the 20, and now you owe me 80, but now you have to pay the 10% on the 80. So now you owe me $88. Right? So now 30 days later, okay, I'm going to pay you another 20. So now you owe me 68, but I'm going to add another 10% on that 68. So I'm going to add 68 plus 6.8. And now you owe me whatever that is. And so forth. So that is the interest rate. So now if you have good credit with me, then you have a lower interest rate. If you have bad credit with me, then you're going to have a higher interest rate, right? So, all right. So, and that's the thing, right? For me, I don't like letting people borrow money, especially I don't like letting family borrow money, because when they're family, they believe that they do not have to pay you on time for some weird, strange reason. All right. And they don't believe in paying interest. I'm like, just go to the cash advance, right? Just go to the cash advance, right? So how is a FICO score calculated? So before we keep going, let's see what Mitch is saying. All right, let's see what Mitch is saying, because this is his topic. I am just leading the way. All right. So Mitch says FICO 10 or FICO 10T is the main concern. What you are going over is regular FICO, which is baseline, is fine. All right. So we'll do a search for FICO 10T after this. We got some time, right? We have some time. Let's see what else he says. FICO 10T is trended data over the past 24 months. There we go. We're getting, okay, there we go. Which is already implemented in some areas, i.e. mortgages. Okay, got it. So let's get a good understanding of FICO first, and then we're going to break down FICO 10T. Not a problem, right? Adult report card, right? As your card says, adult report card. That's a fact, right? So with that being said, let's keep going. So how is a FICO score calculated? A FICO score is calculated using information from your credit report, which this report is like a report card that tracks how you manage money. Here are the things that go into your FICO score. So payment history on time, 35. So 35% of the score is based on your payment history on time. This looks at whether you pay your bills on time. Paying on time is like turning in your homework on time and getting a good grade. However, a late payment, if you miss payments or pay late, it's like not turning in your homework and getting a bad grade. Now, you see why some people's FICO scores be in the gutter, because in school they didn't turn in their homework or they turn it in late. So they take their school report cards and they just translate it to their adult report card.
Bruh.
All right. So 30% of your FICO score is based on the amount owed. Credit use. This looks at how much money you owe compared to how much credit you have. If you're using a lot of available credit, it can be like having a backpack that's too full, which can be bad for your score. Remember when I was in sixth grade, they used to have us carry all of our books to school. Like my backpack was so huge, and I don't know what they were doing. They're trying to kill us. They were trying to kill us, right? So less credit use. Using less of your available credit is better, like carrying only what you need in your backpack. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. 15% of your credit score, of your FICO score, is length of credit history. How long? This part looks at how long you've been using credit. If you've had credit for a long time and handled it well, it's like being a student who's been doing well in school for many, many years. So it's like kind of looking at your GPA. How does your GPA look? Have you been doing well in school? If you've been doing well, then like for however long you've been in school, then that is your credit history. So it's kind of like the same thing, right? And then new credit, new account. So 10% of it is based on new credit, new accounts. Opening many new credit accounts in a short time can be bad, like trying to join too many clubs at once and not being able to keep up, right? Tell me about that. And few new accounts. Opening fewer new accounts shows you're managing your credit carefully. Okay. Not even. After this one, right? So types of credit, different accounts. This looks at the different kinds of credit you have, like credit cards, loans, and mortgages. Having a mix, like being good at different subjects in school, can be good for your credit score. So, and this is only 10%, right? So the new credit and the types of credit is only 10%. Which, if those are bad, that can. So if we break it down from a school perspective, like we've been doing, right? Like we've been doing it. So if you have a lot of new accounts and you have like all of them are for department stores, or Amazon or whatever, right? Then that right there can automatically bring your score down to a B. So 10% might not seem much, but that already brings you down to a B. And let's say in a short amount of time, so you're at 80%. If these two are bad, you're at 80%, and then you don't have credit for that long. So let's say it's like you just started building credit, and you have all these accounts, all these new accounts, and they're all for retail, and your length of credit is short. Now you're down to a 65. That's a D. So with these alone, it can bring you down to a D grade. And let's not even get into this, because if this right here is bad alone, you can have all these other things good, which they probably won't be. You can have all these other things good, and you are already like, let's say you're consistently late on your payment or you're missing payments, you're already down to a D. And if you owe a lot, then it's just game over. You remember Little Flip song, Game Over? Game over from there. All right. So before we get to the next section about what's a good FICO score, let's see what the chat is saying. All right. So We are so Mitch says not cash advances. That's a lot. Yeah, that's like 50% interest on those cash advances places. Yeah, I was just saying. I'm just saying. I don't like if you're not going to pay me back on time. That's why I always tell them like, hey, just go get a loan. Like if you could pay me back in 2 weeks, why don't you go pay back the cash advance place in 2 weeks? You know, I do not like letting people borrow money at all. Right? And it says he out here getting payday advances. Who getting payday advances? I don't get payday. I ain't getting payday advances. I know Mitch ain't getting payday advances. Mitch is giving out the payday. Mitch owns the payday advances, and it says that's predatory lending. I have a question about that. Why do you say that? Let's go to full screen real quick. Why do you say that cash advances are predatory lending? Because aren't the person who's going to the cash advance store, isn't there a reason they're going there? And they know what they're getting into? Like a person who goes to a loan shark, they know that's a loan shark. And they tell them the interest rate. And they do it anyways. Why do they do it anyways? Maybe because their FICO score is down bad. Just saying. I'm just saying. I could be wrong, but I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. And it says, Mitch also says, dang, did FICO steal this from me? I didn't even read it. You know? Mitch, they know you. They know you out there. You think you just like they watch the streams that you're on and they're like, oh, okay, they follow you around, Mitch. Like, we got to get the game from Mitch. And Mitch also said all those books you were carrying probably stunted your growth. Okay. No.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
All right. And your car said we had 50 pounds of books going back and forth in the hallway. Your straps had to have that thick padding or your shoulders would be. See, I went through the same exact thing. Like, because we didn't have lockers. Right? And it was a mess. It was a mess. Like, we had carrying all these books. I remember in high school though, I went to school with a piece of paper. That tells you a lot about my high school. But I was able to make it with a piece of paper. It was not a big deal. And we got Telltale Woke in the building. Welcome. And Telltale, did you see the message I sent you? I responded to your message in the Patreon. I'm not sure if you saw it, but check it out. Give me a response, and then we'll continue conversation. All right. And Mitch says, I wanted to promote a book bag, but no free promos. Are you talking about the roly polies? I had refused. To get a roly poly when I was like, I'm not going to do it. Not going to happen. Not doing it. No roly poly for Tech Coach Ralph. All right. And your car says 10% is a whole lot. And Mitch says, new credit is like credit inquiries every time you apply to something. Yep. And it gets a little ping. They have the hard inquiries. They have the soft inquiries. So let's see. And Mitch says, a D. Where I'm from, 65 is an F. It is an F, but I was just going off, 60, 70, 80, 90, because technically at one point, 93 to 100 became an A, and then like 85 to 92 was a B, and 85 to 92 was a B, and it was like 75 to 80, 84 was a C, and then 76 or 66 to 75 or 74 was a D, and then 65 and below was an F. But I was just trying to keep it. I was trying to keep it like on whole numbers. Right? I was just trying to do whole numbers because now Mitch has me. See, this is the problem with these data people. This is the problem with these data people. They have to be utterly specific. Next thing Mitch is going to say, actually, it was 65.234. That was the F. So if you had this, then that was. I'm like, all right, Mitch. All right, Mitch. Sorry, I apologize.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
And Telltale Woke said, my score dropped 100 points from missing one payment. What? It can happen because if we look over here, payment history, that weighs 35% on your score. So if you miss that payment, as was that Akon? If you ever cross that line, the song with Jeezy, if you ever cross that line of missing a payment, it can impact you 35%. Because 35% is the payment history and 30% is the amount owed. So if you owe a lot and you are late or you missed the payment, you have a double whammy. It's a double whammy if you have because if you miss the payment and you owe a lot. So you got debt is the enemy of wealth. All right. Debt is the enemy of wealth. And because there's some people are going to say, oh, there's good debt and there's bad debt. I don't want to owe any money because guess what? Does the good debt become bad debt when you can't pay it back? So me, I avoid, I hate debt. I'm doing, I don't have much debt at all right now. Yeah, I don't have much debt at all other than mortgage and stuff like that. But working on getting rid of all of that debt because I want to own everything outright. I want to owe nobody because I don't want nobody coming and knocking on my door saying I'm about my money. Don't be looking funny when I ask about my money, So I'm just saying, all right. Let's see. A college D. See, I was going on the college scale. Of a 60 in college is an F. 60. Well, yeah, 60. So I don't know. But I remember 60 should be a D. 60 should be 59 would be a F. I don't know. Who knows? Your car, which says it is still a F. All right. See, but your car, remember, Mitch went to school on the other side of the tracks. There were no curves or anything like that. So they have Mitch has high standards. And Telltale says, we back though, we good, we don't miss. All right, and here's the thing, right? The credit score goes up and down. So you miss a payment, it might go down a little bit. Don't miss payments. But you might miss a payment here, and then you paid consistently and stuff. It goes back up slowly, So it's just be careful, all right? And Maddox Swap says cash advance places do pay dividends. What? And let's see. Your car says Mitch was saying that payday advances are. And your car also says, yeah, the FICO score is low if so. And Mitch also says, why do I say that? Because it's a never-ending cycle looking where payday loans are. Let's be real. So here's the question. Mitch, let's go back to full screen for this, right? For Mitch. For the payday, because I don't like payday loans. I remember when I was younger, hanging out with friends, and I would we'll take rides because some of the friends they would religiously go to the payday loan places, right? But is the payday loan the problem, or is the person going to the payday loan place the problem? As I started off the show, Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, said, I have a problem with spending before I get it. Is that what the problem is? People have bad spending habits. So now, because they are in debt and they cannot get credit from anywhere else, they are forced to go to the payday loan place. They put themselves, they're like this. They are like,
I'm in a bind, Nate.
are they going to see Nate? So let's say the payday loan, the person who owns the payday loan is called Nate. And now they go to Nate and they say that they're in a bind. And Nate says, well, I can help you out, but you're going to have to do something for me. You know, what you're going to have to do is pay me back 35% on the loan, or 40% or 50%. And so now if you calculate, right, let's say you go and you borrow $100. And this is, all right, when you pay me back, you have to give me 50. So that means you have to give me back $150 off your $100 loan. Is it your choice to borrow that money or not? You don't have to. But is it because are you forced to go to payday loan places that are going to charge you a very, very high interest rate because you have burned all of your bridges? Maybe you asked me to borrow that $100 like 2 weeks ago, and I let you borrow it, and now you're late, and now I'm not going to let you borrow money again. So you go to the payday loan to pay me back my $100, but now you owe them $150 because I'm not willing to let you borrow money anymore. And that's what I'm wondering. That's what I'm wondering, right? So the car says, just bring me the title to your car. I'll give you a loan. Hey, I ain't knocking it. I see Mitch thinks he's Robin Hood. When the people, all right, I'm not going to get into Robin Hood, right? Because I'm going to get into that because being for the people will get you killed. Right? And Mitch says, your car, you're sick. I disagree. I disagree. Right? Let's see what else. And your car says, I'll give you the title back when you pay that 300% interest and principal back. Run it up your car. Let's run it up. It says, exactly. That's why I said predatory lending. But you don't have to give your car title or agree to 300% of interest. That's my thing. I think that Mitch is trying to remove accountability from the person who got into that agreement. That's what I'm saying. If the thing exists, are you forced to use it? No, who is holding a gun to your head saying, hey, you have to go to the payday loan? Now, if you go to the payday loan and you don't pay your money back, or you go to the loan shark, you don't pay the money back, now a gun might be held to your head at that point. But you did it to yourself. So let's say, I bet you didn't know hospitals check your credit, soft inquiry. So when you go into the ER, when you sign all the papers or electronically, you don't know what you're signing. I mean, I guess I didn't know that, but what's the point? Like, what does that have to do with the price of potatoes in in New Zealand? You know, like, what does that have to do with anything? Let's see. Telltale Woke says zero debt. That's what I'm talking about. Let's get it. And your car says, just call me and I can help you take advantage of the equity in your house with a great refinance opportunity. Get the money you need now and help yourself with the assets that you have. Okay, your car is out here for business. Make sure you read all the paperwork and the fine print. Let's see. So it says there was a big thing about hospitals checking your credit, trying to figure out if you will pay or not, and determines the type of care you get. Of course, they say all people get the same care. A hospital is a business just like every other place. I'm just saying. You're still gonna get care. You might not get the same care. All right. So let's put it like this. All right, and this is gonna sound so insensitive, right? But you're telling me You're telling me you own, and you're gonna say, "Oh, a hospital's not a grocery store." Give me a break, right? But let's say you own a store, right? And someone, let's put it like this. Remember Friday, the first Friday, the original Friday, when I think it's Azelle came into the store, right? Is he gonna get the same treatment as someone who comes in consistently, pays their money and stuff like that, versus someone who is like, they're not gonna pay you, they're gonna try to steal from you and stuff like that? So the question is, are you going to pay me back with the same level of care as I provided to you? Call me insensitive. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying, right? That's all I'm saying, right? Let's see. Your car says money products are horrible. And Mitch says definitely no curves. And it's a statement date versus due date as well. I don't want to get into it. And says a D on college scale at 60 to 69. That's what I thought. That's what I thought, right? See? And as G's. Mitch said, Jeeves. Why you hate on people so bad, right? And says it doesn't matter. It's still a bad cycle. I'm not saying it's a good cycle. I never said it was good. I never said that. I never said that cash advance places are good. I said, and it might be predatory lending, but all right. If we see, let's use the Florida example, right? Because your car loves Florida. Let's say you're walking, right? And you see an alligator right there in front of you. Are you, and it's starting, like, it's hungry, it's opening its mouth, snap, 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 snap. Are you going to walk right up to the alligator and go to that predator? Or like, I gotta get out of here. This is crazy. I am not going to get into this situation with this alligator. People choose every single day to go to the predators. Quote unquote predatory lending. Quote unquote payday advance places. I'm just saying. They prey on your ignorance. I'm not with you on this one, bitch. I'm not with you on this one, bitch. Like, if they tell you that if you burn all your bridges and they tell you that you're going to have to pay 300% back, wouldn't it just be better to like just have your FICO score go down than go on 300%? And you agree to it. Nobody forced you into anything. I don't know. Maybe I'm not for the people, or maybe I'm too much for the people that I'm like, hey, don't be ignorant. Don't be ignorant. Because how about this, right? How about we spend a little less time on sports, on dating, on, bad political speech, on music, and we say, hey, how can I learn more about money? How can I learn more about money?
Money.
There's tons and tons of YouTube channels out there that's talking about money, but our ignorance is our worst enemy. And your car says writing checks that you can't cash, right? Or 200%. You agree to it. And it says, it is a choice. That part is right. It is still predatory. Predators exist. And put the thing, right. Is it predatory if you go to them and they don't come to you? Just saying. The car out here marketing says, I can store your gold for you. Just buy from me and you can keep the gold in my vault. When you are ready to trade, we can take it out for you. Okay, you see, your car is marketing. And this part of the stream is gonna get comments. Let it get comments. I have no problem being the unpopular person because that's how I feel about it. People sign bad deals all the time, and then they want to blame other people. So, are student loans predatory? Right. Anyways, let's keep going. Let's keep going with the. We're gonna keep addressing the comments, but let's keep going to see because we're almost done with the FICO stuff, right? Let's finish up with the FICO, and then we'll continue with the conversation. Okay. So with that being said, let's go back. What is a good FICO score? So the range. FICO scores from 300 to 850. A poor FICO score is 300 to 379 or to 579. I've seen people with like 400, 480. A fair FICO score is 580 to 669. A good FICO score is 670 to 739. Very good is 740 to 799. And excellent is 800 to 850. Higher is better. Just like getting a higher grade on a test is better, a higher FICO score is better. It means you're good at managing your money. So, do people with 800 to 850 go to the payday advance places? I'm going to go with negative, Inspector Gadget. Do people with very good scores, 740 to 799, go to payday advances? I'm also going to go with probably a negative, Inspector Gadget. People with good, they might be borderlining it. Maybe, maybe not. Fair, possibly. Poor, certainly. Certainly. All right? So, you need to stop spending before you get it. Lower your lifestyle. Increase your score so that now you can actually be qualified for real loans or not take loans at all. Not take loans at all. Just saying. I'm just saying. All right. So how to keep a good credit score. So I guess we're going to go back to the payday advance store, right? How to keep a good FICO score. Pay on time. Always pay your bills when they are due. Say it ain't so. Say it ain't so.
Message.
Use credit wisely. Don't borrow more than you can pay back. Keep old accounts. Don't close old credit accounts unless you really, really have to. All right. Limit new credit. Don't open up too many new credit accounts at once and check your report. Look at your credit report regularly to make sure it's correct and there are no mistakes. All right. So in conclusion, a FICO score is like a grade for how well you manage your money and credit. It's important because it helps lenders decide if they should give you a loan and what interest rate to charge. By understanding and taking care of the factors that makes up your FICO score, you can keep a good score and make borrowing easier and cheaper. All right. So your car says, which Robinhood are we talking about? Is it the Men in Tights or the app? I was talking about the Men in Tights. Yes, those Robinhoods, right? And there's the dark version with the J's on. And it says, y'all mean I'm going somewhere else. And it says, what did we do? It says he's drained. He's like, this is Mitch right now. This is Mitch right now.
I hate it here. I want to go home.
Mitch, this is your topic. You have to defend your topic. You have to defend your premise and your thesis and all that, right? And we didn't even get to the FICO 10T, right? The 10T. So I'm gonna look that up real quick, right? And it says, Robin allergies be so funny. I'm just saying. I'm wrestling that alligator. It's in my way. And your car says, I don't love Florida. I like Biscayne Boulevard. I stay on that side in the water. I like deep sea fish. Okay. I got you. No love. All right. And it says, Mooney. And it says, I know Ralph be thinking, why Mitch acting like that? I know Ralph be thinking, why Mitch be acting like this? Like he here. I'm just saying. And it says, sign. So your car, here goes a promo. Sign the 360 deal. All right. Sign the 360 deal. with me on Death Row Records, I will make you rich. Do you guys remember the movie? I know Mitch remembers this movie, State Property. Get Down or Lay Down. I'm just saying. All right. And it says, you taking up for the little people like me. Poor is a mindset and a bank account, right? I'm just saying. At least you understand. And we got Junior in the building. What's up? What's going on, Junior? Happy to have you here. And Florida is Jumanji. Like if you go to the other side of Biscayne, your car, you are in the Everglades, and it is crazy. And your car also let me know yesterday that we got monkeys down here. I did not know Florida had monkeys, but apparently we do. So, all right. So now I'm gonna do a quick lookup of this Florida 10, or not this FICO 10T. I'm talking about Florida. Florida down bad. Florida is down bad. Let's see what Mitch was talking about. All right. So you said it is FICO 10T. Got about 10 minutes ago. Let's see. What is well, it's not that one. Let's just stop that. Mitch, is it FICO 10T? Oh. Okay, FICO 10T. Gotcha. So, what is FICO? All right. Let's get that one. So let's review FICO 10T now. So let's go to share the screen as we wrap this one up. So FICO stands for Fair Isaac Corporation. Who's Isaac? Who is Isaac? And it's a company that creates credit scores. A credit score is a number that shows how good you are paying back money that you owe or that you borrow. It helps banks and other lenders decide if they should give you a loan or a credit card. So FICO 10T is one of the latest versions of the credit score that this company has made. There's what's special about it. Looking at your history, FICO 10T looks at how you've used credit over time, not just a snapshot of your current situation. It checks patterns in your behavior, like if you've been steadily paying off your debt, or if you suddenly took on a lot of new debt. Trends. The T in FICO 10T stands for trended data. This means it looks at how your credit habits have changed over the last 24 months, 2 years. For example, if you've been paying off your credit card regularly, that's a good trend. Better prediction. By looking at trends, FICO 10T can make better predictions about whether you'll be able to pay back loans in the future. This helps lenders make smarter decisions. So, in short, FICO 10T is a type of credit score that looks at your credit habits over the past couple of years. Couple of years to give lenders a better idea of how reliable you are at paying back borrowed money. So, that is the FICO 10T. Now, what about the FICO 10T should we be looking into, concerned about, etc.? Where's my mouse? All right, there goes the mouse. So Mitch, here's a question. Is the FICO 10T going to be another defense of the victim Olympics like the payday advance places, huh? That's what I'm wondering. Is it going to be another victim Olympics story? Because I remember what you said like 2 weeks ago is that the FICO 10T is not good for the majority. Why is it not good for the majority? The floor is yours. Let's go. What is it, Mitch? Tell us more about this FICO 10T that you despise, right? And while we were waiting for Mitch to make his defense of the FICO 10T, let's see what the chat is saying. So, your car says if Tech Coach Ralph didn't live in Florida, they would nuke it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Whew. Thankfully. Sorry, Florida. Hope I am the last hope for Florida, apparently, right? And let's see. Says Tech Coach Ralph had his premiere set to 1x speed, and it sounded like he was back on energy drinks. What? Oh, you're talking about the premiere from yesterday? the one about, I'm going to just start slowing them down now. I'm just going to start slowing them down. All right. And let's see what else we got. And Mitch says that your car is about to catch these hands. Do we even know if Mitch has hands? Does AI robots have hands? That's a question, right? And it says, that's a good question. I'm just saying, is it going to be another Victim Olympic story? That's all. What do you think, your car? What do you think? Your car, what are your thoughts on the FICO 10T? Here are my thoughts. Here are my thoughts on the FICO 10T based on what I've read, right? I think this is just a better case of why, say it ain't so, why we need to teach, why we need to learn this information early, right? Learn this information early so that we, as a whole, we learn it, we teach it to our kids so they can make better decisions. Do you remember like getting an allowance as a kid, right? What did you do with your allowance? How did you manage that money? Are we supposed to just buy stuff for our kids? Or should we teach them how to use money wisely so that when it comes to like making getting credit and stuff like that, they don't go crazy. They don't start spending money before they get it so that they're not affected by this, so that they can be happy about the FICO score and the FICO 10T. Start building credit early, being careful, being responsible at an earlier age than having to figure it out when you're older. Don't have them. So kids shouldn't have to grow up within a 2-year span. They should be growing up their entire life. So teaching them early so that they can be in a better spot. So that whether you look back for their whole entire lifetime or you look back for the past 24 months, it doesn't make a difference because they know how to use money effectively, wisely, etc. All right. So let's see what the chat has to say about this. Right. Let's see. So Mitch says, if data is trended over the past 24 months for people who may have had problems, etc., and then finally got themselves together, that won't matter because they will go off. They'll go off of that. All right. So they'll go off the past 2 years. Again, I'm fighting for the people. I can't forget where I came from. See, I remember where I came from, so I don't have to go back, right? So there's a difference between why you fight for the people. You fight because you remember where you came from, so you can fight, and you fight for the people. I remember where I came from, so I don't have to go back over there, right? Now, I'm going to say this. Shouldn't you have to prove yourself for a certain amount of time? Maybe you start off with baby steps, baby credit. And then as you trend upwards and you erase and then we go past the past 2 years, the past 24 months, and it's better for you, maybe now you see maybe the time frame of becoming a responsible financial adult is 2 years. Can you do it consistently for 2 years so that your score trends upwards? Because at some point, if you keep doing it well, then the 2 years are not going to be it's going to be 2 years of good information. So I'm just saying, right? So your car says no. You about to catch the hands. He is about to catch these hands. That was at you. Oh, that was at me. I thought that was at you. Okay. I mean, it still doesn't answer the question. Does Mitch actually have hands? All right. That's what I want to know. And it says, what do you think your car? Let's see. Everybody can't be in a mansion like you. Well, number one, I am not in a mansion, but what does being in a mansion have to do with 2 years? Like, you could. It still does not answer the question of do you need to prove yourself for a certain amount of time? I had terrible credit at one point, and I worked my way out of it, and now I have good credit. I have great credit. I have excellent credit. But with that being said, I don't want to use any more credit moving forward. I just want to pay everything cash from now on. So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. All right. And Mitch fixed the same matching because he knows that this might end up on a clip. So he doesn't want his typos to be showing up in the chat. I got you, Mitch. We got you covered. And your car says, knowledge is power. Ignorance is not an excuse. It starts off in the home. It starts in the home and affects the village. The village affects the community. Mitch says, this channel is going to turn me into a monster. Hey, I'm just saying. All right. And it says, Tech Coach Rob lives next to Rick Ross. All right. Let's see what else. All right. And Telltale Wokes says, not even facts. He says facts. He's like, I'll send you a fax to tell you how true that is. Shout out to Telltale Wokes. And says, Rob, definitely a clip. I look for your typos and like, all right, we got to clip that one up. Tell the editor we have to clip the one with Mitch's typos. I'm just saying. All right. So, Mitch, anything else, Mitch? Anything else? Any other defense that you have for your people? No, I'm just saying. Anything else? Because me, all right. I have a question for you, Mitch. How hard are you on yourself? Do you give yourself passes? Do you say, oh, where I came? Do you make excuses for yourself, Mitch? That's my question. Do you make excuses for yourself? For where you came from to where you've gotten to? Do you make excuses for yourself? And Telltale Woke, your car, do you make excuses for yourself? All the things that you guys have been through? All the things that you guys have been through. Do you make like, oh, I had it so hard and, this and that. So, and I'm sure you guys don't. So why? So exactly, you don't make excuses for yourself. So why do you have to make excuse for other people? I can never understand that. Why you don't you put in the work, you made right decisions, even if you made bad decisions before. But at some point, you're like, okay, this is like the Trick Daddy song, Lord knows I ain't living right. Trying to change my life, right? All day and all night. So you don't make excuses for yourself, right? Telltale Woke says, no, he doesn't make excuses for himself. Right? And so if you don't make excuses, why do you make excuses for other people? Instead of saying, oh, this is predatory lending, I say, okay, why are you going to the predators? Why are we going to the predators? Don't go to the predators. Make better decisions. Maybe you should reduce your lifestyle so that you don't have to go to do this stuff. What, Mitch? The people that you're defending, right? That you're standing up for. What type of phone do they have? Does their phone cost more than their car? I'm just saying. Do they have a watch to match their phone? I don't know. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right. You guys, you might have the data talk, but when it comes to accountability and stuff like that, I'm like, nah. I'm not giving any passes. All right. Uh, and and Mitch says, I rest my case. I rest my, you know, Mitch down. Mitch is down bad. Mitch might play for the Florida Panthers. All right, I'm just saying. And your car says, this one for the thugs. All right, And Telltale Woke says the goal is to get great credit and not even use it. Yep, agree with that. I agree with that. Let's see what else. And Mitch says Ralph hates Mitch. Hey, Mitch, this is your topic. This is your topic, Mitch. This is your topic. I'm just going off of what you told me. We did not have your car. Did we have to go over FICO today? Even last week, right? When we pushed this back, Mitch is like, did we talk about FICO? I'm like, no, we're pushing it back to next week. And then we pushed it back, and now Mitch has to hold this L. I'm just saying. All right. Let's say so. Your car says facts to Telltale Woke. When you use it, you will only do it because it's something that you want and it makes sense. You don't go looking to use it for everyday thing. That's a fact. And it says, Mitch, Tech Coach Ralph, can't we all just get along? Can't we all just get along? Bruh. I'm just saying. All I'm gonna say. All right. This is gonna be it. The last thing I'm gonna say about it is,
congratulations, you played yourself.
I'm just saying. All right. And Mitch says, nah, I got the smoke for this talk, but YouTube might ban us. Tell us you lost the debate without telling us you lost the debate. I'm just, you know what, Mitch, if you are ready to come out of the AI world, we can go one-on-one having a talk on this conversation maybe next week or whenever day. I can drop the link. We can have a conversation about this. You don't have, Mitch, no one, we don't have to be on camera. No one knows how you look. We can have this conversation because I want to have this talk. I want to have this talk versus why we make excuses for we don't make excuses for ourselves, but we make excuses for other people. Why is that? That's what I want to know. I want to know why do we make excuses for other people, but we don't make it for ourselves, right? That's my question. That's my question. We shall find out, right? And Mitch says at the end, this is my last day on here. Get a new co-host. See you around your car. Remember, Mitch, you have that non-compete clause, so you will be sued if you try to go and join you see, the only reason that I put the non-compete clause on Mitch is because I do not want him to join the victim Olympics out there, right? It is not good for you, Mitch. Stay away from the victim Olympics. All right. So anyways, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I had a great time. Great talk, Mitch. Your car, thank you so much. Telltale Woke, always appreciate you being here. Check out my message I sent you in Patreon. Respond, and we'll continue speaking. Maddox12, thanks for being here. Junior, as always, I appreciate you so much. Keep up the great work. And I think that's it. I think that's it. Really appreciate you guys. That being said, I'm gonna get out of here. Remember, tomorrow we're gonna go live. We're gonna be Terraform. We're gonna try to fix it through Terraform what we were able to figure out manually last week on the show. And we will tonight as well for the Patreon members as well as the bag chasers. Yukari and I are going to be doing Agile Night. We're going to be talking about writing a user story for the time cost calculator and the importance of user stories. So we definitely want to tune in for that. We're going to run it up. With that being said, I'm going to get out of here. So Mitch, see you tomorrow. See you tomorrow, Mitch. See you tomorrow, Yukari, everyone else. But Mitch, definitely see you tomorrow in the chat. And because we still need Superman, all right? So see you guys. Have a good one. But before we go, the question, as always, did you guys enjoy Mitch losing to me?
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you were here?
I had a great time. This is probably like my favorite show that we've done on Saturday mornings. Might not be Mitch's favorite show, but you know, we are in it to win it. On that note, you guys know.
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
The price of the brick is always going up. And on that note, we are out.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
One more thing. I cannot forget. Shout out to Mr. Lot for that super chat from earlier. You are very, very, very much appreciated, Mr. Lot. I cannot forget my guy, Mr. Lot. We still have to connect. Shout out to Mr. Lot. All right. And on that note, we are out.
Spartans! What is your profession?